What up, what up, what up? This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Got a few things I want to get to. The likes of Lesean McCoy, Shady McCoy, running back Lesean McCoy, formerly drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles, has signed a one-day contract with the Philadelphia Eagles because he is going to retire a Philadelphia Eagle. So I'm really excited about that, really sad about that, but I'm more so stoked because he did decide that he wants to retire as a Philadelphia Eagle. So that makes me feel good. He did come out and say that he will always bleed green. So obviously Shady McCoy had the best years of his career as a Philadelphia Eagle. The other thing that I want to get into, obviously, is this. It does look like starting left tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles along the offensive line, Jordan Mailata, is going to miss his second game this week against the Kansas City Chiefs at the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia for this week 4 matchup. And then also kind of big news, kind of not so big news, make of it what you will. But there have been reports saying that Jeffrey Lurie, owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, has given Howie Roseman, general manager, the green light to go ahead and pursue quarterback Deshaun Watson. Now, it is a rumor, and rumors churn, and rumors will always continue to churn. But is there any truth to it? It honestly came at the words of Chris Sims. Chris Sims was the one, former quarterback Chris Sims was the one who reported this. So we'll have to see what happens. But if it's true, then I mean, yeah, if it's true, I think it's pretty crazy. We talked about this at the beginning of the season. The Eagles organization, management, and the owner, they have an imaginary bar of what they expect Jalen Hurts to meet, and here's the thing: is he meeting that bar? Well, I can say this: I don't think he's necessarily meeting that bar yet. But I think he's shown flashes of being able to meet that bar. But it depends on how high they think that, on how high they set that bar. Like I said, it is an imaginary bar, which means we can't see it, but it is hype. It is there. It is there. It's in their minds. They know what it is. We don't. And obviously it's, nobody but Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman know what it is. And maybe Nick Sirianni knows what it is too. But if if the reports are true, Jeffrey Lurie has given Howie Roseman the green light to go ahead and trade for Deshaun Watson. Let me just say this: Howie Roseman is not afraid to pull the trigger, especially with possible 3 first-round draft picks at his disposal. He will go ahead and try and do anything he can to trade for a quarterback like Deshaun Watson. The only downfall, obviously, is those 20 plus allegations against him, and yeah, the 20 plus allegations against him. There's nothing more than that. He's allowed to play right now, guys. He's allowed to play football right now. Me personally is, I don't think we should be talking about Deshaun Watson playing because these allegations are up there in the air. But the fact of the matter is that this rumor is now out there, and it's hard not. That's what we do. We report on rumors. We report on news. We report on things like that. This is a Philadelphia Eagles channel. That's a Philadelphia Eagles rumor. We're going to talk about it. Talks Falcons, welcome to the chat, my man. Talks Falcons says you should go ahead and trade for him. I'm not completely opposed to the idea. I'm not completely for it. I'm not completely opposed to it. So it's hard. It's hard to say one way or the other. Talks Falcon says, so you would tank this season if you get Watson. Let me be perfectly clear. The Philadelphia Eagles don't tank. We're not a team that tanks. We're not the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're not the Cleveland Browns. We're not the New York Jets. We won't tank. Not even if we're trying to get a player in next year's draft who's going to be sensational. We have a lot more pride than that. We represent a city that represents a team that has a lot more pride than that. Doesn't matter how bad we are. We're going to continue to fight our butts off. Doesn't matter if we're 5-11 or 4-11. We're going to continue to give it our all. We don't tank. We're going to continue to try and get that last win. Tox Falcon says, okay, so if the allegations are true, what would happen to Watson? If the allegations are true, then I assume Deshaun Watson's never going to play in the NFL again. Yeah, and prison time. Prison time. Tox Falcon says prison time. I would assume. Yeah, I would say he's probably never going to play in the NFL again, and prison time. So, but honestly, the Houston Texans do not have an advantage. The Houston Texans do not have an advantage. They don't want to play him. He has the 20 plus allegations against him. Like everybody thinks that they want 3 first round picks, and then that's the only way he's going to get traded. They're not going to get 3 first round picks for Deshaun Watson. They're not going to get 3 first round picks if for Deshaun Watson. It's not going to happen. They're not even going to get 2. They'll get 1. Like, let's be real. Tox Falcon says, I don't think it's true, though. Tox Falcon says, do you see him playing this season? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he could come in and play week 17 if he wanted. The hearing isn't until February. So no ruling is going to be made until February. But so there's that. Just because you guys joined late, I did start off the stream with saying that, some pretty cool news. Lesean McCoy, Shady McCoy, running back Lesean McCoy did sign a 1-day contract with the Philadelphia Eagles to retire a Philadelphia Eagle. So while that's sad, and I'm also very happy that he decided to retire as a Philadelphia Eagle. And he did come out and say that he bleeds green. So his best years in his career were as a Philadelphia Eagle. King Miro, welcome to the chat today, my man. He says, I hope we can win against the Chiefs. The other thing that I wanted to get into, which is perfect segue. The Chiefs have the worst rush defense in the NFL. Let me go ahead and bring up these stats right here. So it's definitely going to be a big week for the Eagles to run the ball more than just 3 times, for our running backs. So let's look at it here. Chiefs run defense, rushing yards allowed 481. That's ranked 31st in the league. Yards per carry allowed 5.4. That's ranked 30th in the league. Rushing touchdowns allowed 7. That's ranked 32nd in the league. Rushes of 20 plus yards allowed 4. That's tied for 31st in the league. Rushing first downs allowed, that is 30. They've allowed 30 rushing first downs in 3 games. That is 32nd in the league. Percentage of rushes resulting in a first down, 33.7%, 32nd in the league. Guys, the Kansas City Chiefs rush defense is absolutely horrible. And here's one thing that we do know: the Eagles do have a really good running game when they decide to run the ball. Miles Sanders is a phenomenal running back, and Kenny Gainwell is a really, really good rookie. And then also Jalen Hurts can do some damage with his legs. We know that. Dallas played him really well on the read option this past week, but look for those lanes to be open this week. I have a feeling that if the Eagles want to win this game, they are going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field by running the ball. And I feel like there's going to be lanes there for Miles Sanders to get open, get out into the open field and do his work and get some big chunk plays. So Tox Falcon says, congratulations for him, meaning Lesean McCoy. He was a beast man for the Eagles and was with the Bills. Yeah, he was never the same after Chip Kelly traded him. King Miro says Chip Kelly traded that fool for Kiko Alonso. Shaking my head. Yeah. Yeah, no, Kiko Alonso looked great in his first 4 weeks as a Philadelphia Eagle, but then didn't play really well. Tox Falcon says the Eagles offense would basically have to score at least 3 touchdowns to keep this a game, which is very possible. I mean, they're going to be able to run. They're going to be able to run the ball on this team. And that's going to open up some passing lanes. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Run the ball so that you can open up the passing lanes and then see what that gets you. That should be the philosophy for this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not worried about the offense being able to move the ball against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not worried about that. I still worry about Jalen Hurts, and his accuracy and what happened on Monday. But as far as running the ball and opening up those passing lanes against this Kansas City Chiefs defense, I'm not too worried about that. What I do worry about when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs, to this Kansas City Chiefs game, obviously, is the Eagles defense going up against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense. That's what I worried about. And any team in the NFL. That's not saying that the Eagles defense is bad, because the first 2 weeks the Eagles defense was pretty good, and they just laid an egg. Against Dallas, but so we'll see. But any team in the league should be worried about any defense in the league should be worried about Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense. That's the fact. Tyus Falcon says Cincinnati just beat the Jags 24-21. Yeah, I kind of saw that coming. Even when the Jags were up 14-0, even when the Jags were up 14-0, I didn't see the game ending that way. The Bengals are more experienced team and better. They're a better team. They shouldn't have been down. They shouldn't have been down to 14-0 in the first place. So. But again, I don't think the Bengals are as good as we thought they were going to be this season. Again, they're beatable. King Miro says, I'd be surprised if we beat them. Yeah, I mean, I would too. This is not a game that I circled as a win before the season started. So I would too. It's 2-1 and 2 teams going at it, and we'll have to see what happens. The Dallas Cowboys are going against the 3-0 Carolina Panthers this week. So, if the Eagles upset the Chiefs at home and the Dallas Cowboys lose to the Carolina Panthers, the NFC East is reset. The Eagles and the Cowboys are going to be at 2-2. So. Technically, Dallas would still be in first place because they beat us, but I'm just saying. There's still a lot of football left to play, guys. We got to remember that this is a 17-game season, the first time in NFL history, and we have 14 games left to play. So even if the Eagles do lose this game, you never know. And that's kind of what a few days of reflection has given me, is we have a lot of football left to play. And we never know where the development is going to take us. We don't know if a trade for Deshaun Watson is going to happen and Deshaun Watson just comes into Philadelphia ready to play and absolutely dominates. We don't know. We don't know what kind of trades are going to happen. There's still a whole trade deadline that we have. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that need to happen. It's only been 3 weeks. Guys. If we were to judge the season off of 3 weeks, who wouldn't be going to the playoffs? The Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs would not be going to the playoffs. So keep that in mind. You think the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to the playoffs this year? Of course they are. So let's just put it into perspective. I'm not saying that I'm not being sorry, I dropped my mic. I'm I'm not being delusional here and saying that the Eagles are going to automatically turn around and be some sort of magical offensive juggernaut and shut down defense that rivals the Legion of Boom. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's still a lot of football left to play. You know, things can turn around. Things can always look a little bit better. And I'm not saying that we're going to be good, but we could also be one of those scrappy teams, as we start to develop. That's all. King Miro says we're going 2-14. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's a possibility. We could go 2-14. I don't know. If we go 2-14, then we get the number 1 pick in the NFL draft next year. You know what I mean? So, and I honestly believe that the Dolphins are going to give us a top 15 pick. So, and the Colts are going to give us a top 15 pick. So, I look. I'm not going to say that I'm okay with that, but I'm going to say this is you're right. It's possible. It's possible, but again, it's only been 3 weeks. We don't know how the season's going to go. The Carolina Panthers could start losing without Christian McCaffrey, and they could go on a long list of losses. The Dallas Cowboys could do what the Dallas Cowboys always do, and once the going gets tough, they start losing. The Giants could start winning. We've seen it before where the Giants started off really shitty and then they went on to win the Super Bowl twice. So, look, it's only been 3 weeks. Mike Nixon, welcome to the chat today, my man. Yo, what's up, DB? Shout out to Shady Mccoy, who's one of my favorite running backs. I love watching him. Killed my Giants a few times. Yeah, Shady was great. And I think my favorite Shady memory was honestly that snow game against Detroit and just how he was able to have a field day against the Detroit Lions running in that snow. That was probably one of my favorite games ever watching of a Philadelphia Eagles running back, honestly. Yeah, that was freaking awesome. By the way, was against Jim Schwartz and that Detroit Lions team. So Talks Falcon says Mike Nixon, Falcons Nation. Mike Nixon says that's my favorite moment as well. Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible game. It was an incredible game by Shady McCoy. Played phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, it's I mean, going back to the Eagles and the Chiefs game, I mean, it's possible that they can turn it, that they can beat them. It is. I mean, looking at those numbers of the Saints rush or of the Chiefs rush defense, is pretty eye-opening, honestly. In all statistics, it's 30th to 32nd, and the Eagles have a great amount of backs. This is one of those weeks where I would just call up Jordan Howard. This is just, I'm tired of saying it, but it's just one of those weeks where I would call up Jordan Howard. Just to mix it up. So yeah, the Bengals were able to come back and defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 24-21. Didn't expect anything less than that. Yeah. So how do you guys feel about the fact that Chris Sims came out and said that Jeffrey Lurie has given Howie Roseman the green light to go ahead and pursue Deshaun Watson? Like, are we really going to go through this again? Is this what we're really doing? Another thing I wanted to get to, guys, and this is about Jalen Hurts and what former All-Pro linebacker for the San Diego Chargers, the then San Diego Chargers, mentioned is this. He goes on to say this about Jalen Hurts' performance against the Cowboys. On Sunday night against the Cowboys, Philadelphia quarterback Jalen Hurts was mentally destroyed. He checked out of that game and was fighting for his life, making some very bad throws. They're another one where the defensive line looks good, like Fletcher Cox and those guys look good, but Jalen Hurts and the offense have to figure it out. Yeah, it's kind of and I think, look, here's the thing. I think Sean Merriman's right. From what I saw, I saw a quarterback who was getting impatient and pressing and not making the right reads, or just only focusing on his first read and making some bad throws. Completely agree. Toxic Falcon says, okay, so if you trade for him, what happens to Hurts? Well, I think that Hurts would resume a backup role. That's what I think. And yeah. I mean, it's gonna and then Toxic Falcon follows it up with, I can see you trading Minshew in first round pick. Yeah, it's gonna. I think that trade. I think that trade was. I think that trade is going to include a quarterback from the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think it can either include Jalen Hurts, and I think it can either include Gardner Minshew. So yeah, it just depends. It's just going to depend on which one Houston wants. Honestly. But my thing is I think it'd be better if they wanted Hurts because what does that say to Jalen? If they bring Deshaun Watson in, even if they bring Deshaun Watson in and the allegations end up being true, what does that say to Jalen? How can Jalen ever trust the management again, even after the benching in Week 17 last year? You know what I mean? Mike Nixon says, I think that was terrible for Jeffrey Lurie to do that. Now you add that extra pressure on Jalen Hurts to have to play good every game. He don't need that kind of pressure. Yeah, he doesn't need that kind of pressure, but he does have to play good. He does have to play good. He is auditioning. He is auditioning for his job. That's exactly what he's doing. They haven't committed to him. That's the thing too that I listened to earlier this week is like usually GMs and organizations and owners, like when it comes to the quarterback, they like to commit to the guy early and often. Like it's the most important position on the team. They like to commit to the guy early, like they don't like they're all in on Josh Allen. They're all in on Justin Herbert in Los Angeles. Like, they haven't committed to him. They're not all in on Jalen. Clearly there's skepticism, and rightfully so. What kind of Jalen Hurts is going to be the final product of Jalen Hurts? What kind of quarterback are we going to get? Who is Jalen Hurts going to be? Who is Jalen Hurts going to be? That's the thing. Are we going to see more games like how Jalen was against the Falcons in week 1? Because that's how Russell Wilson is. Russell Wilson is that guy, but Russell Wilson is that guy every week. Or are we going to see this guy that we've been seeing over the last 2 weeks, which I'm starting to lean toward this guy over the last 2 weeks because, two versus one, right? 2 versus 1. I mean, then again, like there have been some great throws. There have been some great throws, great plays made by Hurts in each of these games, so it hasn't all been bad, but it's been wildly inconsistent since week 1. Talks about Falcon says, do you still see the playoffs with Jalen Hurts? It's hard. It's hard to say right now. One, because it's not all on Jalen. It's not all on Jalen Hurts, right? And Nick Sirianni needs to be better as well. Nick Sirianni needs to be a hell of a lot better. He's been absolutely horrible the last 2 weeks, and he definitely needs to be. He needs to be better as well. I don't know if that means calling things better for Jalen. I don't know if that's the difference. You know what I mean? Like, did they make it easier for Jalen Hurts against the Falcons to get his confidence up and things like that? Like, were the passes easier? I think they were. The Eagles barely ran any screens in week 2 against the San Francisco 49ers. It's like, why aren't you running any screens? That's what worked for you well in week 1 against the Atlanta Falcons. And then in week 3, it's like you're only running the ball 3 times against the Dallas Cowboys, an offense that you have to keep off the field. Are you kidding me? So the past 2 weeks, like, Nick Sirianni hasn't really helped Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts hasn't really played well. Have they both had their moments? Yes. But there needs to be a fine line where they have to meet in the middle and they have to sync back up, because they have not done it since week 1. Talks Falcon says, if you don't run the ball Sunday, he needs to be fired. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be fired, after 4 weeks. That's just not gonna happen. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of questions if he doesn't run the ball again. And look, Miles Sanders was not happy. I mean, everybody could see that in his press conference. Like, he wasn't happy with the way that the game went. Like, yeah, he was humble about it, and he did say, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to, as long as we get the W, I'm willing to do whatever I need to do for the team and things like that. And said things like, I'm not a coach. I can tell you what I think that we should do, but I'm not the coach. I'm just a player, and I'm here to do whatever the coaches want me to do. So, like, Miles Sanders was a little bit bitter, and Miles Sanders very well should be bitter. Miles Sanders is one of the best running backs in the NFL. Plain and simple. I'm going to come out and say that right now. Like, he really is. He needs to get more touches. It's that simple. So, the Eagles have a shot at beating the Chiefs, as if they run the ball, if they control the clock, if they win time of possession, which they can do against this Chiefs defense, because the Eagles have the running backs to be able to really, really put a dent in that Chiefs defense. They really, really do. I will say that. You run the ball well on Sunday, and then you set up some decent passing plays for Jalen Hurts to get the ball to his guys in space. You don't have to keep taking the deep shots. This is what I don't like. The Eagles at the wide receiver position have a ton of speed. And yeah, while it's good to take deep shots every now and again, like, you don't have to always take deep shots. What you want to hit on is those crossers, because you get Quez Watkins going across the field on a crosser. He could easily burn right past a defender easily. Same thing with Jalen Reagor. Same thing with Devontae Smith. Same thing. You set those crossing, you set those crossers up, crossing pass plays up with the run game. It's right there. I mean, and you can even do it. You can even do it with the tight ends too. It's not, and then the screen game, like that's kind of where they should be focusing on. Just focus on that. That's how they can win. That's how they can beat this. I mean, like, just get them incrementally. You don't have to keep taking your deep shots. Mike Nixon says, Nick Sirianni is a clown for running Miles Sanders only 2 times. That's just horrible. I feel bad for Sanders. He's really a damn good running back, potentially top 10 running back in the goddamn league. Run him. Yep. Yeah, agreed. Look, like I said, the Eagles, if they run the ball, set up some cross and then run some crossers, do some screens, things like that. I think, and then the read option obviously is, I think that will be keys for this offense to have success. Against the Saints, not the Saints, the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense. I feel like I've said that more than once in this stream, but I might be wrong. Tox Falcon says, I'll probably be nervous the whole game. Yeah, no, I don't think the Eagles have played Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, the Eagles haven't played Patrick Mahomes in the regular season yet. Because in 2017 they played Alex Smith and the Chiefs. So it's going to be interesting to see for sure. It's going to be interesting to see. So I'm excited. I'm actually, yeah, that's the thing too, is like, obviously I'm going to be nervous and, but I kind of want to see Patrick Mahomes. So I haven't seen a lot of Chiefs games, but like I'll get to see Patrick Mahomes, for all 4 quarters. So that will be cool. That will be cool. I'm excited about seeing Patrick Mahomes. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, no, Jalen Hurts needs to get his shit together. And honestly, I think the Jeffrey Lurie rumor is a threat. I think Jalen is on a thin line. Jalen has not played well. Jalen did not play well on Monday night. Like, he had Zach Ertz wide open on the right side of the field and completely, like, it just was horrible. So yeah, Jalen's on a thin line. This team, like, that's the thing too, is like, is it Nick Sirianni or is it Jalen Hurts? Like, because obviously, like it is a little bit of both of them. But if we were to choose one or the other, who is it more? Like, is it the quarterback who is staring down his first read? I think it is a little bit, like, I believe that Nick Sirianni's offense would look a little better if Jalen Hurts wasn't staring down Devontae Smith all the time. Like, he's doing it all the time. And so that's the thing, is like, would we be 1-2 right now if Deshaun Watson was on this team? And my answer to you is, I don't think we would. Tox Falcon says, if you don't trade, when should you bench Hurts? I don't think they're going to bench. That's the thing, is the only reason why they should bench Hurts is if Gardner Minshew were the number 2 quarterback. That is the only reason to bench Jalen Hurts, and Gardner Minshew is not the number 2 quarterback. Joe Flacco is. That's the thing is like the only reason to bench a quarterback in an audition year is so you could get a look at the guy that you could let another guy audition. But Joe Flacco is like 36 years old. We're not trying to audition a 36-year-old if the role that you're auditioning for is future franchise quarterback. You know what I mean? So so my answer to this question is, as of right now, I don't see, if there is no trade, I don't see Jalen Hurts getting benched. I see them riding it out. But if Gardner Minshew decides to become the second string quarterback, then I could see it happening maybe around week 8. But it also depends on, it depends on how Jalen plays. It depends on how Jalen plays. It depends on how many. Like, here's the thing, and I said this before: is Jeffrey Lurie does not like having losing seasons whatsoever. And so he, look, we fired Andy Reid for going 4-12. And things like that. And so, like, if we have another losing season, I could only imagine how mad Jeffrey Lurie would be. And that leads us to this. That further justifies what Chris Sims said about Jeffrey Lurie giving Howie Roseman the green light to go ahead and make that trade. So, I think Jeffrey Lurie is furious right now. I mean, look, they just got beat up by their rival, 41-21. That's not how Eagles-Cowboys games are supposed to go. And Jeffrey Lurie knows that. Even Jerry Jones knows that. Even Dak Prescott and other players like on the Cowboys know that. And the players on the Eagles know that. But it happened. And it was embarrassing. And it was in front of the entire world. And that not only is it embarrassing for us fans, but it is even more embarrassing for the owner of the franchise that lost the game, i.e. Jeffrey Lurie, owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Toxic Falcon says, you may think it's stupid, but I would trade for Goff for easy second and a QB. Yeah, but the Lions aren't going to trade Jared Goff. They just gave up on Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff. And a first round and a yeah. Like, no. Yeah, they're not going to give up on Jared Goff. And I don't want Jared Goff. You know what? Jared Goff is too much like Carson Wentz. Jared Goff is too much like Carson Wentz. I don't want Jared Goff. There's only a few quarterbacks I would want in this league. Russell Wilson is one of them. Aaron Rodgers is one of them. And Deshaun Watson would be one of them too, if he didn't have all these legal allegations against him. And even then, I'm still pondering the idea, but only because I don't know how that's going to play out. If they are true, if the allegations are true, then shame on him, and I don't ever want him wearing an Eagles uniform. But the truth of the matter is that the Eagles were interested in trading for Deshaun Watson before the allegations came out, because the offseason got kicked off with Deshaun Watson not being happy with the Houston Texans, and that he wanted to be traded. and then I think it was like sometime in in March or something like that when the allegations came about. So Toxic Falcon says Watson might be rusty though. No, I mean, no. Watson was training with the Jalen Hurts in the offseason. Look, here's the thing: he's still training. You know, he's still out there. He's still training on his own. You know, that's the thing. He might be a little rusty, but you know, we said the same thing about Dak Prescott. Remember how Dak Prescott might be a little rusty? You know, coming out of the gate, and they almost beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Dak Prescott had a great game in Week 1. So you never know. Mike Nixon says Patrick Mahomes would be another one of them. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about guys that might actually be available, you know, at the end of the year. Mike Nixon says, but the Chiefs would never trade him. Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, I mean if we're talking about any quarterback in general, I mean, you know, Josh Allen, you know, Kyler Murray, you know, I would even take Justin Herbert. But Toxic Falcon says Dak definitely surprised me. Well, Dak knows how to orchestrate his offense. That's the one thing I will say is like Dak knows how to orchestrate the offense and the offense there in Dallas, and so that's why they're able to do so well. Does that always lead to victories? No, it doesn't, because otherwise they would have a Super Bowl by now, and they don't. But he does. But that is one thing that he does know how to do. He does know how to orchestrate that offense to success, and so I mean, you know, that's what we saw. That's what we saw Monday night. We saw a veteran quarterback who knew how to orchestrate his offense at a veteran level against an inexperienced team all the way around. That's what we saw. Tox Falcon says, I still don't see him getting the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't either. I really don't. Mike Nixon says, I don't know if you know this, but my Giants could have had Mahomes if ownership listened to McAdoo. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, who would have known? I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, the Eagles could have had Mahomes. But they took Carson Wentz instead. So I believe that was the same year. Wasn't that the same year? I think that was it. No, Mahomes was taken the following year. Mahomes was taken in 2017. Is that right? Mike Nixon says 2017. Yeah, so a year after Carson was drafted. Tox Falcon says, I'll still say Alex Smith brought life back to the Chiefs. Andy Reid brought life back to the Chiefs. Andy Reid brought life back to the Chiefs. Andy Reid was the one who traded for Alex Smith to bring him to the Chiefs. And then it all took off from there. But it was a mutual thing. So It was a mutual thing. But that's all I have for us tonight, guys. Again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. And again, huge shout out to Shady McCoy for signing a one-day contract with the Philadelphia Eagles to retire a Philadelphia Eagle. So stoked about that. And you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, have a beautiful rest of your Thursday evening. One love, and go Birds, baby.